All right, everyone, settle in. Today, we're going to talk about something that I bet almost all of you have felt, but maybe you've never really had a name for it. We're going to dive into this idea of the digital ghost.
So let me just ask you, have you ever felt like a ghost online? You know the feeling. You're there, you're scrolling, you're absorbing everything, but you're invisible. You're basically a silent observer in a room where everyone else is shouting. If that hits close to home, then you are in the right place.
Let's paint a picture here. See if this sounds familiar. You've been scrolling for who knows how long, and you come across a topic you are passionate about, something you know inside and out. You have this complex, well-thought-out opinion ready to go, but your fingers just kind of hover over the keyboard. You never actually type a word, you just watch. Now, what's the first thing you think? Your gut reaction is probably, oh, it must be social anxiety, right? A fear of being judged, maybe a lack of confidence. But what if I told you that's not it at all? What if it's not a weakness, but a sign that your brain is a high-performance machine just trying to protect itself? What if it's actually something much, much smarter? And this is where things get really interesting. We're going to get into the science of it, because the reason you hesitate to jump into the online fray, it might not be about fear. It's about information. It's about the very real possibility that your brain is processing the world in stunning and, frankly, overwhelming high definition. Okay, so the fancy scientific term for this is low latent inhibition. I know, it sounds a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. See, most brains have a built-in spam filter. It's constantly working to ignore stuff it decides is irrelevant so you can focus. But if you have low latent inhibition, that filter is turned way, way down. You don't just see the forest, you see the tree, the leaf on the tree, the veins on the leaf, and the tiny ant crawling on that vein. You see it all. So how does this play out online? Well, a standard definition brain sees a headline. Simple. But the 8K brain, oh, you're processing so much more. You're seeing the headline, sure, but you're also picking up on the author's subtle tone, the choice of font, the hidden meaning behind the words, and you're already running complex simulations of all the dumb arguments that are about to break out in the comments section. It is a massive amount of data to process all at once. Okay, so if your brain is already doing all that work just by observing, can you imagine what happens when you even think about interacting? What should be a simple comment suddenly feels like walking through a cognitive minefield. It's really not a conversation at that point, it's a digital assault. Every single potential interaction is this enormous wave of data that your brain feels compelled to process, analyze, and predict. It's a full-on attack on your senses and your intellect. Think of your active memory like a small workbench. When you consider posting something, you're not just putting one idea on it. No, you're immediately cramming it with all this other stuff. You're analyzing the original poster's true intent, you're predicting the inevitable arguments, you're trying to craft the perfect response, you're fact-checking, and by the time you're done, that workbench is so cluttered, there is zero space left for your own deep creative work. But here's the big twist. This is where we completely flip the script. What if that silence, that hesitation you feel, isn't a failure? What if it's an incredibly smart act of self-preservation? What if your silence is actually the solution? I really want you to let this sink in. Your silence is not a character flaw. It is not cowardice. It is systemic maintenance. It's your high-performance brain recognizing the huge cognitive cost of that digital assault and making a strategic choice to save its incredible resources for things that actually matter. So how do we get a handle on this? How can we perform this maintenance on purpose? Well, there's a simple, actionable little framework you can use called the Gray Protocol. It's just 2 simple steps. First, go grayscale. Literally, switch your phone's display to black and white. This one little trick dramatically lowers the neurological stimulation. It breaks that dopamine reward cycle that all those bright red notification badges are designed to exploit. Second, pause to check. Before you reply to anything that gets you emotionally fired up, just wait. Give yourself 24 hours. Let your 8K brain do its thing, away from the heat of the moment. This isn't about suppressing your voice. It's about strategic processing. And when you start doing this, you're not just dodging overload. You are actively and deliberately building a powerful space for yourself. You're creating something absolutely essential. And we call that space your restorative niche. It's no longer just being quiet online. It's a sanctuary. It is a protected workshop where your high-definition brain can finally clear off that cluttered workbench and get to the good stuff, The processing, the creating, the recharging, without the constant threat of that digital assault. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's a protected space, a sanctuary that you've built for your powerful mind. And the only question that really matters is this. Now that you know how to protect it, what will you choose to create in it?